And now, RSM, the Rams Sports Magazine Show.
Welcome to RSM, Rams Sports Magazine Show. I'm your host, Anthony Keith. This week marks a big one for all the Rams teams. As the football team had signing day, the women's team moved up in the Mountain West Conference standings, and the men's team took on yet another top 10 team. So I'm going to start things off on this show with highlights of the Rams taking on the Aztecs.
You have to credit, San Diego State. I thought their defense was really good. Game was really physical, which was fine with us. DJ Gay made a very good play. We score and go down in transition. And first of all, Andy did a great job stopping the initial move. He came down, hustled down, got the ball stopped on a small little double team. DJ got him going left. Then he made a nice little inside-out move and hit a jumper, hit a fading jumper. And that's mark of a very good player and a guy that he's a winner. Well, I just think their physicality. First of all, Wes Eichmeyer was clearly ineffective, so we were without a handler. And against those guys, you need more handlers. And so we never, even at the end, we've got Pierce in the game, or we had Will Bell and Andy, and then maybe a Pierce or a Franklin. Well, what are they? They're going to make a mess of the lane. So now Dorian's got nowhere to go either. So I think being short a handler really hurt us and made it harder on us. But at the same time, they weren't getting away from us. And we were still, when we could get it into Andy, I thought he was pretty effective. And here's what hurt us: the 4 possessions, right? So Franklin dribbles off his foot. Dorian, well, I think the order was Dorian dribbles off his foot, out of bounds. Franklin dribbles off his foot, basically out of bounds or to them. We get the 3-second call. Right, when Pierce doesn't put it right back up off a call. And then they poke it off. I think Andy had it in there, and they poked it away from Andy, and it might have went out of bounds off Andy's foot. Those are 4 possessions where we had either an advantage or, should have had an advantage, or at least not just dribbled off our own foot, But San Diego State does that with their length and athleticism. And we just couldn't space the floor on them, at all. I wish I would have said on the radio, our students were phenomenal. I got chills one time. I don't know. I don't know. I can't find the score in that place, So I know it was pretty close, and all the students were coming out of timeout. They were hopping and jumping, and I just got chills. I literally had chills coming up my spine. And that's what you want college basketball to be. That's what you want your team to experience and your players to remember. And I'd love us to win one, And but that experience, I was really. I'm so thrilled with our fans. I thought all of our fans came out, but our students were lights out.
Well, it's got to be tough. Got to go on the road and go get some wins. We can do it. We just got to just man up.
Stay tuned, Rams fans, because coming up next on the show, I've got a one-on-one interview with Tim Miles and the status of his team heading into the second half of conference play.
You're watching RSM, the Rams Sports Magazine Show on Northern Colorado 5.
Welcome back to the show, Rams fans. This week, I'm joined by the head honcho, Tim Miles, the men's basketball team. Now, Coach, over the week, another big win. You guys are now 5-2. You're receiving AP votes for top 25. How are you feeling?
Well, you feel good about that, of course. When we took over the program, it kind of imploded. We kind of raised it, and now we're growing it into what we hope can be a national contender. And it's not easy, but we've got a good group of guys, and we're excited to continue the season.
Talking about contending nationals, we got Andy Ogaday, 28 points, amazing game, 20 points in the first half alone. What did he do for you guys in that game?
Well, he's terrific, and he went out and went 3 for 3 from the 3-point line with a 7-3 guy standing in the middle of the lane, so that helped. But Andy is that kind of player. He's very good, and he always plays a little better against Utah for some other reason. But we like it, and we're excited about seeing him again at home.
Another thing fans might have noticed past few games is Wes has been out, and Greg Smith stepped up, filled that spot. He had double digits in points. How do you feel that's going, missing Wes these next couple of games?
Well, we certainly do miss Wes. You know, he's our third leading scorer going into the Air Force game, and that's a game he couldn't play. We found out right before warm-ups that his foot was bothering him so bad that it was an injury that happened during the BYU game that got worse. Greg really stepped up and did a great job. Got his first career start against Utah, double figures against Air Force and Utah. Was really good. Hit a huge shot to take a one-possession game to a two-possession game at the end of the Air Force game. That I thought was a little bit of a rite of passage, and we need that out of Greg.
It's great. So players are stepping up all over the place. What's it like having a bench that runs so deep? You're able to pull those guys up if you need them to.
Well, we're fortunate. We've got good depth, and that's huge. You look at what Pierce Hornig did in the Air Force game, going 6 for 6 from the field, was really crucial for us. And then being able to start Greg from off the bench and still get quality minutes out of other guys, too. Will Bill had 2 huge block shots against Utah. Those are big plays. Those are important plays to winning.
Now this week, got another top 10 team, San Diego State. How do you feel? I've talked to a few of the players. They feel like you guys match up better with San Diego State than you do with BYU.
We feel that way too. We feel like it's a really good matchup, and we're excited. But I'm not so sure our BYU matchup is that bad anymore. It used to be worse, but I think we're closing that gap. So at the same time, Steve Fisher, who won a national championship at Michigan, does an unbelievable job at San Diego State, and we're excited to have them in our house here in Moby. Hopefully, we can get a huge crowd to cheer us on and will away to victory.
Talking about that crowd again, that's been a big thing this season at Moby, having the seats filled. Again, what does that do for you, having the seats filled?
Well, it's huge. We had to sell out against BYU. Our students have been really good, and it just keeps improving. And that's the atmosphere of a game really can create problems for an opponent and creates more confidence and advantage for a home team too. So we need as many people as we can standing up and just yelling.
Reaching that midway point of conference play going on in the second half, is the team where you want them to be?
Well, as a coach, you always seek improvement, so there's a lot of things we have to get better at. When we go watch film here in about 2 seconds, we'll look at our errors from the Utah game, what we have to do better to prepare for San Diego State, and just keep trying to get a little better every night.
Now, last thing, Coach, again, NCAA tournament, that's been your goal this year. You're no longer building on the program, this is it. And how confident do you feel getting to that tournament?
Well, for today, according to Jerry Palm, we're in. We're one of the last 4 in, but we're in. We're right on that cusp. We're right on the bubble. We're one of probably a dozen teams that feel like they have a chance to be in the NCAA tournament. We want to be in less company than that. So we have more winning to do, and you just have to go out every day. And we have 2 really critical games this week. San Diego State, no more important than Wyoming. Wyoming, no more important than San Diego State. Those are just huge games for the Rams.
Very true. Well, Coach, I want to wish you good luck against San Diego State.
Thanks, partner.
Be an awesome win for you guys. Stay tuned because there's still more here to come on RSM. It may be basketball season, but coming up next after the break, I've got a quick overview of how National Signing Day went for Steve Fairchild and his Rams.
You're watching RSM, the Rams Sports Magazine Show on Northern Colorado 5.
I said it when I was hired. This can be as good a football program as we want it to be. I think we're recruiting to move it in that direction. But we've got wonderful academics, a wonderful campus, a great community, and if we can get guys to take a visit, we feel very good about our chances of getting them to sign with us. We did not get everyone we wanted. I'd be worried if we did. There were some hard-fought battles. Some of them we chose to back away from. Sometimes the young man chose another university. That's going to happen in this process, and it's not over yet as we focus a majority of our attention to the February 2012 class and that process, which is well underway. There are still some recruiting battles. There's still some room left. There's still some gray shirt possibilities, so this one's not laid to rest as we speak. Geographically, we felt like this is our best effort in the state of Colorado since I've been back as the head coach with 5. Felt like we did a good job. That's what we would like to do every year in the state, and we'll try our darndest to do it. Texas, once again, was very, very good with 10. The thing that helps without, it's hard to measure how important it is, but it's very important in this recruiting process, is getting a young man in your camp, getting a chance to work with him, live, so to speak. And that's easier done, obviously, with prospects in the state of Colorado. We have good track record of getting them in camps. It's much harder thing to do out of state. However, because of the proximity of the state of Texas and the seriousness that goes on in their high school football, we had a number of those guys in camp. I think that helped in that terms of the numbers there. Probably a little better this year than it's been. That's been, back to Coach Lubick's days, that's always been a very strong point for this football program. I'd like to rally it back where it is once again. We felt like we made a step forward in that area and improving our California recruiting. As always, we'll go anywhere and everywhere if need be. Position-wise, we hit every position on the offense and defensive side. We target the best players. Sometimes you go a little heavy in an area. Sometimes you go a little light in the area, but I'd rather do that and recruit the best players and try to fix it the next year as opposed to just recruiting a guy because of a position. We felt like we did that. And as you know, there's always flexibility when a young man comes out of high school with where he'll end up. I just think we've been doing the right thing here, and I think we've increased our talent base every year since I've been here. We obviously didn't finish up like we wanted to, but each year is different. This will be a new team this year, and this will be a team that, with 8 starters coming back on both sides of the ball and a quarterback that's experienced. You can see the feel right now as we begin our off-season workouts. I'm not going to flinch. Obviously I wish we would have done better, but I know this. We are recruiting the way we need to recruit to get this program back where it needs to be.
You're watching RSM, the Rams Sports Magazine Show on Northern Colorado 5.
Welcome back to the show, Rams fans. This week, I'm joined by Christy Hillgrass of the Spirit Squad. Now, Christy, over the weekend, the Lady Rams down at halftime wasn't looking good, but they rallied back. And what was that like when they started, taking the lead?
It was really exciting for us, actually. Girls' games are hard to cheer at with not so many people showing up, but they really came through, and it was really an exciting game for us. It was easy to stay pumped and stay excited for the girls because they really came back.
That is one thing. The crowd size is a little bit smaller, but that game, about 5 minutes left, they were really into it. So
they were.
What was it like cheering for that crowd?
It was just really exciting. It felt like a men's game for that last few minutes of the game. We were all really into it, jumping up and down for the girls. It was just a really exciting moment. Yeah.
Now, some fans will notice during the games, dancing bandman. I mean, you guys go out to do your routine,
yes.
And while you're stacking up, putting up the pyramids, all of a sudden, dancing bandman starts going crazy.
Right.
Is it a bit of a competition with him?
It is. We actually mentioned it the other day. It was funny. We were like, can we maybe just stand there when he's dancing instead of stunting, because we feel like everyone's like laughing at us. And no, but he's hilarious, and we love watching him too. It's hard going out there and actually trying to stunt while he's dancing up at the band, but it's not really a competition anymore.
Yeah, there's maybe a way that you guys can collaborate.
Right. We try to get out there and do our stunt before he starts really taking off the jacket and taking off the tie.
It's like a time thing. You're stressed. Let's do this. Let's do this. Well, Christy, I want to wish you good luck this Wednesday with cheering. Thank you so much for joining us on the show, and good luck with the rest of the season.
Thanks.
Stay tuned, Rams fans, because there's still plenty more here to come.
You're watching RSM, the Rams Sports Magazine Show on Northern Colorado 5.
Welcome back to the show, Rams fans. This week I'm joined by Kristen Holt of the ladies basketball team. Now, Coach, over the weekend, taking on Utah, fairly evenly matched team. They were 3-3. You guys were also. Do you feel like they were kind of your equal in the conference?
Well, I knew they'd be a really good team, and it proved to be a pretty good game. We had a very slow first half. I thought they did a good job defensively. We were pretty tentative on offense. Our zone, I thought, was good, and we switched our defenses up quite a bit throughout the game. But second half, I think the big difference was we just got our offense going and scored quite a few points there in that second half, and just went through a stretch where we got 3 or 4 defensive stops and got the crowd into it, and then from there we just were able to pull it out.
What'd you tell the girls in the locker room? You're down by 11 points going into the second half. What was kind of the emotional booster there?
Well, it was a harsh conversation. It was either, we're about ready to lose this game by 30, or, we have a chance to be in fourth place by ourselves, and you guys need to start playing like you can and play with some aggression. And we did, and Kim took over there a portion of the second half where she started posting up and scored quite a few points there, and just had a lot of contributions from a lot of different people.
So would you say Kim was kind of the catalyst in that game in the second half?
Well, she was, because she really hadn't been doing much in the game and definitely wasn't scoring. But then she just we told her she should start posting up the point guard that was guarding her, and she did that, and then she scored. And that, sometimes when you're struggling from the outside and you score a layup or a quick basket inside, that can really get you going, and I thought it really gave. I think then if she'd have moved out and shot threes, she probably would have hit them.
Talking about the threes, 1 for 10.
I know.
Past few games, haven't been the best when it comes to three-point shooting. Is that a concern of yours right now?
Well, it is, because that's what's been a positive for us in the first part of the year. But the one we did hit, which was Barbie, it was a huge three, and it gave us, I think, an 8-point lead and allowed us to pull away.
When Bonnie made that shot, the crowd, they was really into it.
Yeah.
Games I've been to this year, it felt like the whole Moby was full. What'd the crowd do for you that game?
Well, it was awesome, and it makes a difference. It makes a difference when you're playing in a close game like that, and the emotion and the enthusiasm that it brings. And Bonnie found a way to put that one in, and I was happy for her, because she's been struggling a little bit this year from the three-point line.
And what'd that win do for you?
I think for our kids, it should give them some confidence as we move forward. We haven't been in this position since I've been here, and sometimes when you're in uncharted territory, your kids don't know how to react. But I think it's just been a big boost, and we've got to keep going, though. There's a lot of season left. There's 9 games left on our schedule, and we've got a lot of tough games coming up.
Talking about that second half of the season, 3 big ones. You got TCU, BYU, Wyoming.
Yeah.
The big thing about that is they're all going to be here this time.
Right.
What does that do for you?
Well, we've been really good at home this year, and I think we're 8-2 at home, and hopefully we can. We know we have great opponents coming in, the top teams in the league, but there's a difference when you play on your own home court.
Definitely. Each of those teams beat you by at least 20 points.
Yeah.
So what do you tell the girls to kind of boost their confidence heading into those matchups?
Well, I think, hopefully we've improved from those times that we played them. I know we're not 40 points worse than Wyoming when we played them the first time. And we have a real good chemistry right now with our team, and I think every kid on our roster knows their role. There's just 8 of them, and they know they're all going to play, and they know kind of the role that we're asking of them. So I think that's made a big difference.
Talking about just 8, just one true post player.
Right.
Have you kind of had to form a whole different team midway through the season?
Well, we've had to change a lot of things. We've had to have Kim and Haley play in the post and defend the opponent's post players, and a lot of times we're giving up a lot of size and strength. We've played more zone than we normally do, but I think on the flip side of it, offensively, we're more of a 5-out motion team now, where we can put all guards out there at the same time, and that makes it hard for the opponent to guard. So, it's just what it is, and I think we're just kind of gelling.
So switching up's kind of been working for you. That's
well,
great.
A little bit.
Just 8 players. I've talked to a lot of the girls, and they didn't seem too concerned about it. They feel like they're in great shape. They can last the whole game. But from a coaching standpoint, is that kind of a big hit?
Well, you can't have injuries and you can't have foul trouble with just 8 players. And but we've focused a lot on what we have and not what we don't have, because focusing on what you don't have isn't really going to get us anywhere. And I think our kids have adopted that same mentality, and it's worked.
Keeping a little closer at San Diego State this week, how do you feel you match up with that team?
Well, they're tremendous athletes. We don't really match up with them very well, but they probably would say they don't match up with us real well. So it's really going to be who can execute their game plan the best, and we're going to have to get them stopped in transition. They really like to kick it up the floor. We're going to zone them, and hopefully that will work. But it's just kind of whose will is going to be imposed and who comes out on top.
11-9 overall, 4-3 in conference play. Is this where you saw the team this part of the season?
Well, at the beginning of the year, I was hoping that we'd be in a position in the middle of the conference somewhere. with the injuries and just the different things that have happened with the team adversity-wise. I didn't quite know if we would get to that point. So I'm real happy where we are right now. But like I said, we've got 9 games, and there's a lot of basketball left, and we just got to keep it going.
Well, Coach, you've been doing an awesome job handling those injuries and moving forward. I wish you good luck this Wednesday against San Diego State and the rest of the conference. That'll do it this week for RSM. We'll catch you next week, Rams fans.